Hey guys, this is Andy McCann. I'm here to help you lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finance. And today I am going to talk to you about carnivore diet and being in ketosis all the time, or basically not having any carbohydrates or sugars in your body. I just did some blood work. It's been about a year and maybe 2 months since Evan and I have been on this journey. Basically, he's fighting Crohn's. He said, let's do the lion diet. I said, dude, I'm in. I'll go with you. And so I eat like him. Actually, I eat more restrictive than him now. He's pretty much healed up his stomach doing the lion diet. Anyway, I've been doing carnivore, pretty strict, for about maybe 14 months, so a year and a bit. And I just did another round of blood work. Interestingly, the person I did blood work with did not know what the advanced lipid study is. If you guys are going to do this, you need to find somebody who understands what the advanced lipid study is or test. So instead of just a cholesterol panel, you get the advanced panel. And so what it does is it looks at your LDL and says, hey, is it really bad or is it good? So having more LDL isn't actually bad. It's a false positive. What you need to do is look to see if it's large and buoyant, which is good. It's healthy and it's doing the things it's supposed to do, repair and all that. And an energy transport, it transports fat to your cells so you can burn it. Or if they're dense and sinky or heavy or whatever, those are going to clot. Those are dead cholesterols and your body wants to get rid of those. So I'm still here, and so everything is going good. So the spoiler is everything looks great, but what I'm going to talk to you about is why does it seem my numbers say I'm pre-diabetic when I don't even eat sugar or bread or anything that would have carbs or sugars in it. I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm going to show you what I eat. So we're going to go through that. There's a lot of videos out there, and so I would recommend go find a doctor like Dr. Ken Berry, who actually talks about this exact same thing in his life. Now, I don't know specifically how, is he always on carnivore or is he slacked up? I don't know. So this is for those of you who are like, hey, I am trying to heal something. I want to try it out. Should I do this? Man, I don't know if you really should do it. I'm only doing it because Evan needed to, and it's much more lonely to do it by yourself than it is to have somebody go with you. So any parent would do, well, most parents would do anything for their kids, and I said, dude, let's do this together. So that's how I got here. And I just happen to like it. So I'm curious, is this a lifestyle thing that I can choose? The answer is maybe. I am of the philosophy that if you and I can have different blood types, yet our organs work pretty much the same, then it is possible to have different stomach types, different, nervous system types. Not everything has to be exactly the same. I think it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. So let's say my blood is A positive, and if I gave it to you as a B positive, you would die. So potentially not everything works the same way. And it's true. I'm an unfrozen caveman lawyer. I'm only talking to you out of what I have done. I am by no means an expert, but I am telling you I have done a lot of research, and I know for me this really works. So I'm going to go through it all. But you should always go find someone who's actually wise and not an idiot like me. You should use what I say as a springboard to go investigate all of your own, but you should say, Andy, you must be lying. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I am, but you should assume that and you should go look it up, just like anybody else. Never take 100% of what people say from the internet. Most of the time they're speaking out their butt, and the other times, like me, we're just speaking from what we have done internally. I've seen it with my own eyes, the proof in my son that the lion diet and carnivore diet did what it was supposed to, or at least claimed to. I have in my own life been eating this way and working out this way. I do CrossFit. I do it 5 times a week. It's pretty intense. And I move really well. I score pretty good on the workouts. I don't really care so much about that, but I can go out and do stuff. So I'm very active, yet I'm eating just proteins and fats. So first, let me show you basically what I eat in a day. So this is my net diary that I'm looking at. So this is a video on YouTube at Andy McCann 42 or a podcast of fitness, food, and finance, and you can find it on any podcast server, so you can look at it either way. I will describe it, of course, but the picture is of your daily budget of calories. So this thing said, hey, you should be at about 2,300 calories is your budget. Yeah, it sounds okay, but with what I'm doing now, I'm eating over 4,000 calories a day so that I don't keep losing weight. Could I eat less now? Maybe, but this is what I found seems to work. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I eat 3 meals a day. I don't snack. I don't have any leftovers. Can it be expensive? Maybe, I guess. But again, I don't have any leftovers. I don't have any wasted food. I look at our refrigerator. I only use the 2 bottom drawers that are for, I guess, vegetables or whatever. So I put my stuff in there, and that's all I ever use is the 2 bottom drawers. It's got meat, cheese, butter, and I have my own eggs because we have chickens, and I use those. So Yes, I think I'm saving money, but it's not about saving money. It's about, well, firstly, it's about going along with Evan so he can get through this thing and say, at least somebody else is in the suck with me. For me, it's just, I actually weirdly enjoy eating this way. I know it's stupid, and I don't think I would recommend it to anybody to eat like this. So, breakfast for me typically is 6 over easy eggs. I just like them that way, and it's a lot of salt on them, and yeah, that's what I eat. Lunch is some type of, usually it's 2 New York strips, about like 1.5 ounces, pounds? 1.5 pounds of uncooked steak in the package, and then pull it out, cook them. I just put them in the air fryer and eat them. It's a pretty easy process. Lots of salt again. I do drink coffee in the morning with nothing else in it. It's just coffee. And I drink a lot of salty water, so I make my own electrolytes. You can watch a different video for that. And I put it in my water to taste. So I've come up to the idea that it doesn't really matter so much as long as you're not cramping when you work out. I do feel my calves as thick as I walk around, and so then I add some more electrolytes to my water or drink more of it. But I have found this. I need to stop drinking salty water by around 4 p.m. Otherwise, I'm going to pee all through the night. I just get up a lot. So if I stop by 4, then I can sleep relatively normal. So watch out for that. You salt to taste, or you electrolyte to taste. So electrolytes are salt, magnesium, potassium. You can use various degrees of different types of ingredients. Make sure you pick the right stuff for you. Also, not all magnesium is created equal, so, try different things. But I mean, potassium too, right? So potassium citrate may knock you out of ketosis. I don't think that's going to be the case, especially for me. I just don't eat that many carbs, right? Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And then dinner is usually some sort of ground material like ground beef, lamb, bison, or whatever, just in a pack, cut it open, throw the whole dang thing on a pan. I use a cast iron pan to cook everything, and I never take the grease out. I just keep cooking on the same stuff. Every once in a while, I'll do scrambled eggs, and that sort of pulls it all together and rebinds it up, and that looks like an empty pan to get again. I do put butter in the pan to kind of, do its thing. Anyway, so I'll smother out an entire package or like a pound of ground beef, and then I'll use basically it's like 3 spools worth of goat cheese. So if you go to Publix or a grocery store, whatever, usually you can buy a longer goat cheese. It's maybe like, I don't know, like 8 inches or something. And it's about, I guess, again, if you put sewing thread together, the spools, it's about 3 of those. I'll eat the whole dang thing spread across the ground beef. So yeah, it's a lot of protein and fat. That's what I eat pretty much every day. The same thing every day. I know you're thinking, Andy, that's pretty dang boring. I know, and I'm just made this way and it works. So the question is, what does my blood work look like? Am I killing myself? The numbers do show that I am pre-diabetic, but obviously that can't be true because I don't even eat sugar or bread or anything else. So it's something else. And so here's the thing. In monitoring for the result, they're looking at other things that typically lead you there, but aren't necessarily the result. So in monitoring for becoming pre-diabetic, they look at your A1C, how long does sugar stay in your blood cell? That sounds like a great idea. It doesn't actually mean you're pre-diabetic. It's just a measurement that typically means that. It's like measuring, how many people that got to second base made it to first? Well, I mean, pretty much everybody. But did they steal second or did they get a bat to second? Well, I don't, well, actually, there's probably a stat for that, but I don't know. It just says they were on second, they were on first. So getting on first, yes, I have to have an A1C. I have to get on first, but did I steal it? Or did I get batted there? Or did I bat myself there? Thinking about that, there's probably a stat for it. I don't know baseball very well, and I don't do stat sheets like that. Although that data aspect would really intrigue me. So anyway, they're measuring a thing that tells the thing. They're not measuring the thing, right? How tall are you? They stand you against the wall and they measure it. They're actually measuring how tall are you. When you do blood work and all that, they're measuring things that indicate something else for the most part, not all the time. Like if you measure your blood pressure, you're measuring the pressure that your blood, the vessels and stuff are when you lub-dub. Your systolic and diastolic blood pressure, that's what they're measuring. Now, they can say from your blood pressure, I think you have ... because that's usually a precursor. So we're going to go through some of those numbers. I'm going to take you through my entire LabCorp. Yeah, it's still up. I'll take you through the whole thing. I'm not going to go back through what every single one of these are because you've probably listened to a bunch of these and you should know. I'm just going to hit the highlights and reel you in on some of the important ones. The biggest things are, yes, my numbers show me it's super high cholesterol. That's okay. You have to have cholesterol in your body. If you don't have cholesterol, you die. Your brain is cholesterol. The transport vehicle for fat as an energy system is cholesterol. So your cholesterol will actually go out and pull the bad stuff out and then remove it from your body. It's a cleanup system. So you have to have some amount of cholesterol. They for a long time have said, hey, cholesterol is bad for you. Now they're changing their tune. Some people are changing their tune and saying, you know what? It's never been cholesterol. It's been sugar or sweetener or high processed food. I don't know. All I can tell you is what's happening in my life. I just told you what I eat, and you're thinking to yourself, really? You eat that every day? Yes, that is what I eat. You could ask my wife, you could ask my kids, you can text me, you can email me. This is what I eat. I know, super boring, but weirdly, I'm okay with it, and I like it. And I eat a lot and a lot and a lot of salt. And my salt is totally fine. So here's some of the edicts that I kind of go with is, your body is the ultimate adaptation machine. It's going to adapt to whatever you give it. My body is adapting to what I'm doing now. I'm now burning a lot more fat than I am carbohydrates because I have none. Your body has to have sugar. So my body is saying, hey, I'm going to make some sugar. It will make sugar, glucose on its own. Not sugar, but, glucose, right? So it's going to make it. And then my A1C gets spiked because my blood cells are holding onto the sugar so that my brain can use it later on, or the glucose, right? So your body dams up or releases based on what you have. I eat a lot of salt and a lot of fat. My body has released it. I don't hold on to that. So weirdly, my numbers are super low on fat. And I did actually I should pull that back up. I did a BMI scan and they said I have a 16.1 or something like that % body fat. I mean, it's crazy. I eat a lot of fat. So apparently fat doesn't make you fat. Anyway, your body will adapt and your body will either put up a dam to reservoir whatever it's missing or let it go if it's got it. Okay. All right. So if you're looking at the picture, you see my carbs on this particular day back in October 18th of 2024. So I don't track my food anymore. I know what I eat. It's the same damn thing every day. My carbohydrates was 4, which comes from the goat cheese. So I guess, yes, I am eating some carbohydrates in the goat cheese. It's like 4 grams. So that's nothing. The protein that I took in was 400 grams, and the fat that I took in was 300 grams. Fat as a calorie counts way more. So while my fat grams make up less of what I eat, it makes up the majority of the calories of what I eat. Okay, so let me move on to the lab work. That's always funny. I just looked. It's been 12 minutes. And I'm just doing my preamble. I'm just getting in there. Okay, so it's going to be easier to view, so I'm just going to skip through this. If you're not looking at it, sorry. Basically, they give scales. It's a red on each side is bad. There's a yellow, and the green is usually in the middle. Doesn't necessarily mean all that, but anyway, there's a white blood count, red blood count, hemoglobin. All that stuff is fine. So basically, the numbers look great. Even the ones that you think, well, hey, shouldn't that be off? So far, no. And I'm going to go through some of those ones that should be off. All right, I do find this one to be fascinating. I feel like my body is a bit better at fighting off diseases. And it even says right here, this EOS absolute. Basically, the disease-fighting white blood cells is super low and normal. I just normally don't ever really get sick. Not as much as like, what was that movie with Glass Man? And it was Bruce Willis was a guy who never got sick. I do get sick, but I usually bounce out of things pretty fast, especially now. It's crazy. All right, let me pause you and find some more interesting stats. Okay, so right here is the glucose one. It says I'm at 106 when their scale tips out at 99, so my glucose is super high. Why? Again, it's because my body is making it. So I'm going to go over that. So yes, I expect that number to be high. I will be interested to see if the PA I go back to understands what's going on. What I find is most medical professionals don't know this stuff. I don't know why. I'm just an unfrozen caveman lawyer, and I've done a little bit of research, and I can find it. Either the doctors that do this, like Ken Berry, are lying to us all, and the people who've been doing this for 15 years are lying to us and faking it, or maybe it's true. Now it's for you to go figure out. Let's see here. All right, so there's this other one. It's a ratio of, I always butcher this. It's creatinine. It's the bun divided by that. It's a ratio, so this divided by that is always going to be high for me because of what I'm doing. So I expect that, and that's what I got. Now here's the weird one. My sodium, I eat and drink tons of salt, and my sodium is 143, and they say normal. So it's on the higher side of normal, but it's still in the normal range, which is baffling to me. Again, I think it's the dam phenomenon. My body's getting enough sodium, so it just lets it all go. What's the real answer? I have no idea. You guys know that I make my own electrolytes. It's not that difficult. I have videos on that. But this is an interesting one, right? Salt, potassium, and chloride. So I get potassium chloride is what I use. So it's interesting to see these numbers together. And everything's perfect, right? Even though I'm taking a lot of it. And it's good to see that they're in the green markers. Sometimes I say, hey, are your markers even correct? Because I'm looking at like what you might consider normal, and for instance, they've moved the pre-diabetic numbers up so that, yeah, you're normal if you're pre-diabetic. You're like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. They just keep changing the numbers. So I would be curious against people like myself. Like, is there numbers I can get that are from people that do CrossFit and eat carnivore? I want to see those numbers. Here's another fascinating one. I don't drink any milk. I don't do anything extra for any amount of calcium at all, yet my calcium is in the green. So your body will do the thing it needs to do to help it make work if you're not poisoning it. So doing all the other crazy stuff that we eat, that's poison. I wouldn't do it. That's just me. If you like it and that's for you, then great. But man, it just depends on the problem you're solving. All right, so then we get to the lipid panel or cholesterol. Yeah, it's like, hey, 314 is your total cholesterol, which is super damn ass high. It's above the scale they want to give me. Is that bad? No, because of what I'm doing, right? So look at my triglycerides are way down. That's one thing they're going to look at. If that's way high, that should be some problematic. HDL cholesterol is pretty high. It's goodly high. So they have, instead of just green here, they actually have in the blue zone. So you're doing better than what they would consider better. I don't know. But their measurement goes to greater than 61, and mine's at 93. I don't know. What is that? I literally don't really know what that means, except it's on their chart that it's good, right? And cholesterol is supposed to be bad, yet it's good, right? Then they look at your other cholesterol markers. What I did not get was the advanced lipid study because I didn't know how to order that from the place I went. Now, I don't need to redo that one. I already did it, and they said, yeah, all your particles, more than we could even measure, was way off the scale, were large and buoyant, so it was all good. But if you look at this and say, hey, your LDL is 213, what? That's way past their very high scale. Am I in trouble? I mean, according to the normal things, I'd say yes. But because you do the advanced lipid study, you can look at it and see, it's not. Then they give you a ratio, LDL versus HDL, and they say, hey, actually, your ratio puts you in a proper proportion. So it is just weird when you look at their numbers. If you don't go into it with some context, you're going to get a different viewpoint unless you know to compare things like triglycerides and the ratio and so forth. Okay, so here's another one, A1C. I think I measured it at, there it is, 5.8. So that's pre-diabetic. So am I pre-diabetic? I mean, if you look at the number, sure, it means I'm pre-diabetic, right? No, that means the thing that they measure to see how your body's responding to insulin is showing a thing that usually leads to the pre-diabetic. So no, the answer is no. Why? I'm going to go through that. In a nutshell, my body holds on to sugar longer because I don't use it the way it's intended, or I don't give it an abundance of, and so maybe I'm doing it the way it's intended actually, right? But it holds sugar longer. So if you look at like what is A1C, it measures the average amount of glucose in your blood over an extended period, 8 to 12 weeks of time, right? So my body's holding on to it longer. How do they tell? Man, I don't even know. You feel like I should actually do this test multiple times, but whatever, they pull up the number. Testosterone actually still pretty good. I'm drinking a lot of coffee. If you listen to that podcast way back in the day, I did a how caffeine affects my testosterone. Weirdly, when I'm on caffeine, I have more testosterone. I don't know, it's super strange. Okay, what else? Oh, so here's an interesting one. It's the prostate test. So like they do, instead of now sticking the finger in the rear end, a lot of times they'll actually do the PSA. So they'll prostate specific AG. So it's like looking to see, do you have cancer-ish cells that would indicate prostate cancer? No. Does it mean you have prostate cancer? Not necessarily. Does this also mean that I don't? Not necessarily. You could have it without the numbers, which is crazy, but most of the time, most of the people mostly present in this way. Anyway, my number is 0.3. They're like, stop really measuring it. They're like, hey, you're off the chart. So I think, I don't know if this is the answer, but some people speculate that cancer could be a form of parasite. I know. Is it? I don't know. But some people are putting that out there. Parasites live on sugar. Cancer eats sugar. I didn't know cancer could eat, but they're saying cancer eats sugar. Parasites eat sugar. So could it be? Maybe, but I don't have any sugar. I don't need it. So I do have glucose, but my body makes it and stores it in the blood cells. So it's different, right? So fascinating stuff. Anyway, it's all signs point to you're pretty good. It does say my vitamin D is getting into kind of insufficient, so I'll probably take my shirt off more at the gym. No, just kidding. I don't do that. But I'll probably walk around with my shirt off. Vitamin B is okay. Everything else, is looking great. So what does this mean? All right. I'm going to let you in on my secret. I have trained ChatGPT with my blood work for the last couple of years. I put like historical stuff in there. I also said, hey, you can prompt it and see what it says. I said, just give me what you think. And it gave me pretty good answers for just act like a doctor, right? Act like a physician assistant or whatever. And then I went back and said, hey, take everything you know about me, that I'm doing carnivore for the last 14 months, and I do CrossFit, and I haven't been sleeping great. Then tell me if these numbers are off, right? And so it gave me more specific answers. I said, also tell me some things you would recommend. Now, do I listen to ChatGPT? No, just like you shouldn't really listen to me. I took its stuff and used that as a springboard to do some research. So I'm going to go through some of these things with you because I find them to be super interesting, and potentially you're going down this road and you want to know. So it did throw out that, hey, potentially your glucose was higher because you had either stress, which I'm not a very stressed guy, or had a bad night's sleep, which sometimes I get up to pee a lot and that can mess up my sleep. I got to really dial in the when do I stop drinking my electrolytes, right? Also said, hey, you could have had a cortisol, spike because of training. And that's a yes. I did not train that morning, but maybe I didn't give myself enough time. Maybe I should have been 2 days off rather than just 10 hours off, right? So it's saying maybe I should shift to a less intensity, which I don't want to. It's just saying, hey, maybe that's what you want to do. And the answer is no, I don't. Okay, so the things that it said that I should watch based on the normal doctor type of analysis would be LDL and ApoB, which I already know about that, glucose and A1C, which I already know about that, and the bun creatinine and insulin whatever ratio, which I already know about that. The other one that I wasn't sure of was vitamin D. So I am going to, like I said, shirt off while I do some chores outside. But what about somebody that knows like a Dr. Ken Berry? Actually, here's what I did. I took one of the podcasts or videos, transcripts that really talked about this. I said, hey, knowing this, pasted it in, what would you tell me something different? Act like this doctor, right? And so let's see what it would say. All right, I did ask it, hey, tell me about glucose and why it would say this based on what you know about me. So I'm going to hit that one real quick, and then I'll go back into the other side of it. But I said, hey, explain this to me like a fifth grader. What's going on? So, it's exactly what I've already told you, but it was just fascinating. Your muscles would like to burn sugar, carbs, and then fat, and then it's going to start eating your own body for fuel. I have been training my body to say, no, I'm going to take fat because that's what I have available, which means it needs to save the glucose that it did make for my brain, which is going to move up some of the other numbers like A1C, right? So, it can get a whole lot more complicated, but that's the rough idea of it. Is your body knows a thing and is doing a thing to help the thing so that it stays alive and functions very well. And there's a thing called physiological insulin resistance. So it's not actually like you're insulin resistant, but the things that I'm doing make it appear that way. And one of them is using fat as your primary source. So my body is oxidizing fat as an energy. And it's going to cause a temporary resistance to insulin because I'm not using it as a fuel, but it's not really resistant, so I'm not becoming diabetic, right? So if you had my numbers and you are sedentary, overweight, inflamed, and eating a standard American diet, you'll have the standard American problems, but then all of this would be a problem. But because this is what I'm doing for health and fitness, my body is deliberately holding on to glucose because I need it, right? Your body has to have it and it will make it on its own. So now instead of saying my body is resistant to it, you're looking at the factory of glucose, not the incoming of glucose. So the numbers don't make as much sense when you're doing a lifestyle like this. Okay, so what it really shows is my body is still healing, which I find fascinating. One, I have seen it in Evan, so I know it is true. For my own life, I can see it, or in his life. In my own life, I didn't know I was this messed up. But it's saying after 14 months of carnivore, my body is potentially just in the middle ground of healing itself. What am I healing from? I don't really know, but I will tell you this. Over the last year and a half-ish, I have become very much more open to the fact that other people could be right. So either I'm getting older and wiser and realizing I'm not that wise, or this has actually helped me detoxify something that was causing me to think always be efficient despite relationship, which, isn't, it's a good way to do things, but it's not the best way because you're missing relationships. So I just went and volunteered for Lisa Randall's Fool's Gold mountain biking race. There's a 50 mile and a 30 mile mountain bike race. Anyway, so I was going to swap out being the sweep guy for the race with another fellow, give him a little bit of a break. And he said, hey, instead of like swapping out, why don't we just do it together? And I'm thinking that's not the most efficient way we could work, but I went with, you know what, maybe we can build a relationship. Let's do this together. Turns out he was actually right that we were probably faster because the biking part wasn't tough, but stopping to get everything all the time was irritating. So we probably sped each other up because we could leapfrog each other and pull things out. Anyway, my point is, maybe my thinking is more clear and my heart is more clear and my emotions are more clear because I'm not putting all this crap into my body. Maybe. I don't really know. But I do find myself thinking new thoughts of, hey, I should take a deep breath and listen rather than try to solve the problem on my own. Anyway, so what the idea from one of the podcasts I listened to, I love these words here. So it's a physiological glucose elevation versus a pathological glucose elevation. And you got to understand the difference from that, right? So if you're putting carbs and sugar into your body, then that's pathological, right? If it's something from stress and workout and fasting, that's physiological. So it's a representation of the things I did, not the stuff that I consumed. Okay, so there's an idea of the dawn phenomenon where your cortisol surges in the morning. And it could be, hey, you're waking up and you need to go fight or flight, get the saber-toothed tiger or whatever. I don't really know, but there's a thing called the dawn phenomenon. You still get up. In the morning, if you do your test, it could be that your cortisol is just spiked because it's the dawn. All right, I did recommend that I don't do CrossFit fasted. I typically don't. Every once in a while, my wake-up routine gets skewed and I got to get to class, so I do. And it says, hey, that's going to pop your epinephrine and your cortisol. It's going to cause them to spike, so that could be a problem. So I typically eat before coming working out. It's just sometimes tough to put down 6 eggs and not show everybody at the gym what I ate because I got sick and threw up. And then there's the other side of it that my body is actually creating its own glucose so that I can have repair and brain function. So it's different. It's a factory measurement, not a consumption measurement. Now it's funny, and one of the suggestions it gave me is avoid CrossFitting fasted before you go give your labs, which I did do that exact thing. And it was Dr. Skardassis. He's like, dude, these things are horrible. I said, well, I did work out beforehand, but I was fasted. He's like, yeah, that's going to make it worse. So I didn't know that, and I did work out fasted, and it did spike everything. So the tool is correct. It rightly identified what other people have said, which is fascinating to me. Again, do I believe it 100%? No. But I'm going to use it to back things up or go check them out, which in this case, I already knew that one. Probably the biggest thing that it's telling me is my sleep is off. And I know that. My sleep is off. And I'm trying to, like I said, dial in the magnesium, what is it? The electrolytes. I'm trying to dial in my electrolytes. Thank you all for saying the word out loud. I couldn't get it out of my mouth. So what I will do is continue to measure and see where my blood work goes. But here's what I want you guys to know. Yes, this is really dang hard. I don't know very many people that would willingly torture themselves like this. Though, I don't find it to be torture. I actually find it to be joy. I don't understand why. And I don't know if many of you guys would. I don't know if I would tell you guys to do this, except that in my own life it's working out really well. I do buy into the idea that, because we can have different blood types, we probably have different body types, whatever that means. And not everything works out the way it should. For instance, I know people that are at the gym, vegetarian and vegan and so forth, doing just fine. I know people at the gym that are doing like this, carnivore. A couple guys are. And it's working out just fine. I have one other guy doing this that says he loves it just as much as me. So that's fascinating. Are we both broken? I don't know. I would suspect if they took all of our details and measurements or whatever, we would be a whole lot more similar than dissimilar. Possibly because of the idea that we both like all this protein, fat, and salt. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this. It is not what I thought it would be. It is not calories in, calories out. It is not, I don't know, it's not torturous. Going carnivore and staying in ketosis is not what I thought. I thought I'd have a hard time doing adventure races. I go out in the woods and this next race coming up is 10 hours in the woods. And all I really need to remember is make sure I take in enough salt so my calves don't cramp up. I feel them kind of thick right now, which I didn't drink much yesterday because I was out volunteering all day. But I'll rectify that today. So that's something that I watch for and look for. guys, it's not impossible. It's just not very easy. But living diseased is not very easy either. And yes, you could take a pill. I just think that there's a better way to do it. You could fix things with food as a nutrition rather than food as entertainment. Most of what we eat is just dumb entertainment, and I just don't think it's right for you. It is true. I do not eat fast food. I haven't had fast food in a very long time. I honestly don't even remember the last time I went to a place that has like a McDonald's type fast food. I have been to a place with a drive-in window. That Euro Village, it has a drive-through window, but it's a sit-down restaurant, so that's a kind of a weird one. I guess everything these days with your call it up and go get your food, Dash and Dine or Dine and Dash. No, that's not what it's called. DoorDash. All of that sort of have its own ability to have a drive-through, makeshift. But I'm just talking about food that is either fast prepared or whatever. Wouldn't even consider it food. I haven't had that in a very long time. I actually won't eat rather than eat that other stuff. Every once in a while, I'll try, where did we go? I took, the breaded off the chicken. Oh, it was Sharp Top. I was like, I guess I'll give it a shot. And I took the bread off the chicken and had some of the chicken. I was like, I'm not even sure this is chicken. It doesn't feel right in my mouth. But it's been a long time since I've had chicken. I usually eat some sort of ruminant meat, lamb, bison, cow, venison, whatever. So maybe it was right, and I just didn't, notice it. I'll give you this. This stuff isn't complicated either, but it's not easy. It's done much better if you have a guide. If you need a guide, I probably am not your guy. I bill myself out at $1,000 an hour. One, because I am that good. Two, I really don't like to work with people that don't actually do what they hired you to help them with. So the number of times you tell people, it's the stupid stuff you're eating. They're like, it can't be. You're like, it literally is. You can't eat a Twinkie and expect not to have a Twinkie in your body. They're like, no, that has to be wrong. All right, I'm done. I can't do it. I don't suffer fools very well, especially when you're asking for advice. Don't ask for advice if you don't want it. So yes, I charge a lot. Or on the other side, track your food and your movement for 2 weeks. Show it to me. I'll help you for free for an hour. The reason I do that is if you track your movement and your food intake, in a tool like MyNet Diary or MyFitnessPal or something like that for food, then it is going to work. My brother is actually developing on our, let's see if actually maybe it's already up. Let's see, Garage Fitness Online. He has got a tool here. Yeah, it is up there. It is FitFlow. Find out more. Can I download it or use it? So he has got a tool that he's putting together, and you could take a picture and track your food. So it's pretty cool. So go to garagefitness.online and then click on FitFlow, and you'll see the app that he's developing. Let's see if I can actually pull it up on my computer. Probably the answer is no. Yeah, because they want me to download an app, and I can't show you on my screen. But you can get that. Also, we listed out some unique workouts while he's working on the beta side of his app. It'll use AI and what I've already been putting into 20 years of CrossFit programming and so forth. So it takes that and kind of adjusts it and helps, I guess, lean it towards the way that you want. So is it the best? No, but hopefully it's something you'll do. So if you do something that you like, then you'll probably do it. Or you can download these PDFs and you can see workouts. So it gives you, let me open one of them up. So it'll give you a workout and then it tells you a little bit about it and it says, hey, here's your stimulus. It's supposed to be sprint with, shooting for 7 minutes or whatever. So the idea is it gives you tools and empowers you to do on your own. All that is completely free. Yes, one day we will charge for it, but while we're building it out, help us test it. If it's broken, you'll let us know. So you can find that at garagefitness.online and click on the links. You'll see it all there. Guys, again, it is not hard. It's just not easy either. If you want help, just simply ask, but give me the 2 weeks of data points or be willing to pay me $1,000 an hour. Or come to the gym and I'll help you for free in there too. Usually it's a quick conversation. And the conversations are usually very short and poignant. Somebody said, hey, I'm doing carnivore. I'm like, great, what'd you have last night? And they're like, broccoli and sweet potato and a steak. I'm like, well, that's not carnivore, so you're doing something different. That'd be more like Whole30. So let's talk about your actual goals. So sometimes it's just a little bit of an education of where you're at and what you're doing. it is the world that I live in. So of course I understand this a bit more than I think you should. You guys should understand, I don't know, data science or whatever it is you're doing way more than I ever would, because that's not something I do. We are in Woodstock, so if you're local, Woodstock, Georgia, come to us. If you're not local, it's garagefitness.online. You can find us there. If you need me, if you go to our website, crossfitgarage.com, you will see my email and my cell phone all over that. You can hit me there. I do a special segment for the Survival Podcast. We do a little fitness and nutrition every other Thursday-ish, so you can listen there as well. Or, of course, listen to this podcast right here. All right, guys, look, biggest thing is you're not alone, and your body may be different than everybody else's body. Try stuff. Give it some time. See if it works for you. Take regular blood work. Have somebody that understands how to describe it to you, or do like me and dump it into ChatGPT. It knows me pretty dang well. If it's a bot that's trying to steal my life, it probably can, because, I mean, I gave it everything. All right, guys, y'all take care.